no honky-tonks in jail. No cigarettes, they read your mail. You can't hear the jukebox.
Welcome to CELLDOGS. This is the first episode of our new podcast, and I'm Tia Torres. So right now we have dogs at a prison in Pennsylvania, Rockview. It's in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania. It is actually our first program, our first prison program that we, Villalobos Rescue Center, are overseeing ourselves. We have worked with other prisons in the past, but other rescue groups kind of oversaw them. So this is our very first program that we are doing under the Underdogs Prison Dogs Program.
Yeah.
It was a mouthful. Okay, so who do we have here? We have M2, Mariah. She pretty much oversees the dogs that are going to go. You know, most of the dogs that we're sending are coming from our Assumption Parish location, and Mariah oversees those dogs. So she decides which dogs might be the best fit. She's the one that oversees dog testing and temperament testing to make sure they're going to be a good fit for the program. Then we have Lizzie. She too will oversee any dogs from our New Orleans location that would be potential candidates for going to the prison. But also Lizzie brings to the table is her experience with behavioral and being able to kind of assess any problems that we would have with the dogs prior to going and once they're in. And last but not least, our newly appointed, newly titled program supervisor, Danny, who you all met on the last season of Pitbulls and Parolees, actually. And Danny took one for the team and relocated from California to Louisiana and then to West Virginia, where we have a property, and she's living out there so that she can be the boots on the ground, the person on site that actually goes into the prison and does the training classes. So that's basically our prison dog program team. We do have a location in West Virginia. It is where we transfer some of our dogs from Louisiana to kind of, that's kind of like their stopping point. And there, Danny gets to know them better. She works with them prior to them going into the actual prison. So that's kind of the system that we have going for this brand new program, to get our dogs there. So right now, because this is a fairly new program for us and the prison at Rockview, they allowed us to bring 4 dogs to kind of get started. So we wanted to put a 0 after that and send them 40, but they settled on 4.
2 zeros.
Yeah, exactly. 2 zeros, exactly. So they settled on 4. So those 4 dogs were a combination of what Mariah and Lizzie picked out. And currently we have, and I'm going to break down their names and then you guys can talk about, or Mariah knows them really well. And then we're going to talk about their progress. So we have Teeter, and Teeter came from out here in Assumption Parish.
Yes.
Colby, another one that came from Assumption Parish. Elf, another one that came from Assumption Parish. And then Chico, which was a dog. Lizzie, getting a makeover there? You?
Yes.
Got a photo bomber here.
I'm just letting her do it because what else
Absolutely.
am I supposed to do?
We have Chico that actually came from our New Orleans location. So Lizzie picked out that dog to go into the program. So we started off with 3 that are older puppies, and then Elf was the youngest out of all of them.
Yep.
So, okay. Why don't, since Mariah, you picked out most of the dogs, why don't you talk about like what we look for in temperament wise as far as the dogs that would go to the prison?
Okay. Well, do you want a quick backstory of each of them?
Well, I mean, I think in general, like when we say, like when I get to with you and Lizzie and I say, okay, we're starting this program. We need dogs for the prison program. You guys know the drill because we've done this before. Like what overall temperament do these prisons need?
Well, generally we look for dogs that are not scared because prisons can be extremely overwhelming for dogs. Loud noises, a lot of people in and out. We look for dogs that are generally not necessarily bomb-proof, but extremely dog-friendly because we have multiple dogs getting worked with near each other. I can't even.
Better put it on you, Lizzie.
I know. So dog friendly. We can allow a few shy dogs, but we definitely want dogs that are more confident in just a louder setting. Dogs that are people friendly that don't have human aggression because we don't want them to act out towards any of the inmates or the guards. Dogs that have a good confidence, and actually dogs that need some training. Dogs that are really good dogs. Right. They just need manners, or they need some impulse control, or there's certain things that we need to work on with them. We don't generally send them our dogs that are extremely well behaved because those are really easy to adopt out ourselves. So you have in rescue, you get a bunch of dogs, especially puppies that either come in, have never had any training or just any socialization, or puppies that grew up here and they just didn't get the training they needed. So in order to put them in a normal home, they're so wild. People are very turned off by that. So putting them in these prison programs where these inmates can work with them 24/7 and just teach them basic manners makes them 100% more adoptable in a normal home.
Right. When you guys went there, that's right, because all of you got to go. I didn't get to go. So Lizzie, was this your first prison going to with a prison dog program? Have you been to any of our other prisons?
Okay, no, that's what I was telling. Yeah, it's my first time. It's what I was telling Mariah. I was really excited about it because I was like, I've never, been able to see how this all comes together, and I was super pumped on it because it was my first time.
Were you intimidated? Did it feel? I know you weren't scared per se, but coming from a dog's point of view. Did you, because all prisons are different. Did you feel it was a scary environment for the dogs to come into?
So my thought is whenever we're bringing dogs into a brand new environment, regardless of what it is, my thoughts are always from the dog's perspective. How are they going to handle this? And I'm immediately thinking of what I'm going to be looking for that could be difficult for a dog, or not even necessarily difficult, but just weird, odd, So I think going into it, it was a lot of curiosity about what I was going to see that might have an impact on a dog's behavior. I'm so used to seeing dogs in our environment here and then in homes. So, I think it was more just a little bit of anxiety about what it was all gonna be like for a dog coming into it.
I think there's that stigma too with prisons. They're big, loud, and scary, Yeah.
So and I had been a long time ago. I did an internship actually with a probation office. I had been in a prison before, but obviously not in this way where we're bringing dogs in. So the prison aspect of it, I wasn't nervous about that. Okay, baby, give me 1 second. I wasn't nervous about the aspect of walking into a prison. I guess it was just a little bit of anxiety about everything I was going to be kind of looking for that a dog could potentially be uncomfortable with.
Well, as someone who has been to many prisons, not because I was in prison, but because I was married to somebody in prison. Multiple, yeah. To me, there's been some that are scarier than others. So I would like to direct the question to our other prison expert, Danny. Compared to where you were at, was this facility more intimidating, less intimidating as far as walking in, through the eyes of a dog? When you went there, did you think, okay, this is not as bad as I thought it was going to be, or was it worse?
So I went through all of the female prisons in California. So I got the whole gamut of what it was like out there. I didn't
know you went on tour. Okay.
I got a whole tour. But there were parts that really they're pleasant, they're quiet, they're nice. There were a couple areas they took us through that kind of honestly, I even told the girls, like, I was like, this is kind of intense. Like, there were areas where it was very crowded, and it was a lot louder. The doors were a lot louder, banging, and not what I'm used to. Women's facilities are not like that. It was very much one section, very much the stereotype of a prison, like what you see on TV. So that took me back a little. I was like, wow, that's kind of scary. So
you know what? Yeah. That's a good point, because I've only ever been to one women's prison in Texas just to visit, but all the prisons I've been to are men. So you're saying that it felt different to you because it was a men's prison.
It felt different.
Interesting.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't it interesting? That is very interesting. Yeah. So obviously you were the one that took the dogs there on the first day. Yes. Right, Danny? I mean, you took them there, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how did each dog do? Like, you bring them in, and how did they do? Like, just how did they, were they scared? Did they kind of warm up to everybody?
Chico was the wild child. If anyone saw the video,
I already know that was
that was Chico. And Chico was, he went in that way, and he stayed that way for the whole first class that we had.
That's because he's from New Orleans, man. He's a New Orleans dog.
That's the NOLA dog.
Yeah.
Went in there acting a fool, and he was the whole first class. I would say Elf was a little more reserved, a little more introverted, a little more passive, for sure. But Colby and Teeter
too.
Yeah, Colby and Teeter were just kind of observant, wanting to interact, though. They were excited to be around each other, for sure, with the exception of Elf, who kind of was like, I'd prefer if you just leave me alone, please. Yeah.
Aww.
The first day.
He's so much smaller than the other three, too, No, it could have been very intimidating for him.
It's changed so much already, though. He is now running the place, as little guys do. Yeah.
So on the first day you took them in, so what do? Do you just let the so it's, first of all, explain it. It's 2 handlers per dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2 handlers, 2 handlers per dog, and then we have one guy who's an alternate in case something happens, so he can step in. And I honestly, what I did is I knew there was one team I had in mind already for Chico. But the other dogs, I really let them pick their handlers. I went around and I watched their body language as they interacted with people. Because I didn't really know the guys as trainers yet to assess their strengths and weaknesses. Right. So I let the dogs tell me what they were comfortable with. And I actually gave them dogs, and then partway through I was like, hold on, give me that leash really quick, and switch dogs, because you could see the dogs were like, I'm not in the right place. So, and they are definitely in the right place.
Okay, cool.
So that was it. I let the dogs
so on the first class, then, it was just a matter of them getting to know each other, the dogs and the handlers.
Yep. The guys were ready to get out of there. They were like, let me get out of here with my dog and go love on this dog and pet it. They didn't want to learn to
form that bond.
That was it.
So being that there's 2 handlers per dog, do they take turns sleeping in their different cells, or do they stay in the primary handler cell?
Good question. So the different training teams have different arrangements. I know there are a couple teams that prefer that the dogs stay in the same cell every single night. But one of the teams is pretty flexible, I believe. From what I understand, they've gotten kind of flexible, which I'm not against. I like the idea of the dog learning to be confident in different environments, and with different people. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But as of right now, a couple of them, they have a routine.
Okay. So they've been, I think the program's been going on for 2 weeks. Is it like 2 weeks now? 2-3 weeks?
Oh gosh, no. It's already, are we on, the dogs have been there for how long? 3 weeks or 4?
Jeez, where have I been?
Let me see.
I can actually, so we went in, the first class I had was by themselves on the 13th. So we skipped a week. Oh my!
The first week of January, I think. The first week of January.
Okay, shows you what I know what's going on. So then, what do I know? So then, on the second class, then you begin like the basic training, right?
Yep. So first class we actually did. We didn't get the harnesses right away, so we didn't do any leash walking. We actually just did. We introduced sit, down, sit, stay,
Mhm.
and we did a lot the first class, leave it and watch me. So there was a whole foundation for them to work with through the week. So they had a lot that first week.
Wow. And then how long do you do these classes for? Like at a time? Like how long are they?
Honestly, each week has been a little bit different. A minimum of about 3 hours. I'll push it a little farther if I can.
Wow.
Yeah, if it's a long time. Yeah, I'll push it too if I can.
Well, no, I mean it's great. It's great. I mean it's just. I mean it's great. Like it's amazing.
Mhm.
I know when I did training classes out on the street, in the free world, it was like you do your 1 hour and then that's it. And it never felt like enough. So and just anybody listening to understand, I'm sure, like I said, they don't just keep going for 3 hours straight. I'm sure there's like some downtime and
Yeah.
having fun time with the dogs. But
Yeah, not just training with the dogs. We do interaction with the guys. Yeah, we do interaction with the guys as well. Plus, we do potty breaks, and then we go out and do drills outside to get the dogs moving and get their energy out. And then, so we break it up a lot.
So, how long is the training at each course going to be? Like, how have you decided how long you need it to be? Is it like 12 weeks, 16 weeks, whatever,
I honestly haven't figured that out yet, only because I'm kind of pacing and seeing, one, how quickly the guys are picking up everything, and some of them already have a great foundation. And also seeing how quickly the dogs are able to learn in that specific environment. I'm probably going to tailor it to the dog specifically. So if a dog needs a couple more weeks, I remind the guys it's not a pass or fail every week. I do proof the dogs every week. And it's not pass or fail. It's just so I can say, hey, this dog might need an extra week working on these behaviors, and that's okay.
You know what? I'm actually really glad you said that, because one of the things that gets me the most, and I know Lizzie's going to totally get this, it's when you see these trainers advertising in 3 weeks or less, I guarantee you your dog will know all this stuff. And I'm like, how can you guarantee that?
Yeah.
Like you just said, Danny, every dog's different, so you're not going to set a time frame on it. It's as the dog, progresses or doesn't progress. So
absolutely.
That's really cool to hear. I love to hear that, actually. Okay, so let's then talk. Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk more about Chico, since he's the star of the show here. He came out of New Orleans. Lizzie, do you remember where he came from? Like what his story was?
He was a drop off. The person couldn't keep him anymore, and he was like a little unsure. Not necessarily like he was engaging right away, but not the Chico that walked into the prison. A little bit more, just unsure, as puppies can sometimes be, especially getting dropped off in a new place. But very, very, very sweet. And he wasn't in our care in the city that long before he was able to move on to the prison program. And it's so interesting because you never know for sure how a dog is going to react in a brand new environment. You can kind of get an idea just from getting to know them and seeing them in various places, but a brand new environment is a brand new environment, with different factors involved. So even though the prison we know is a great thing with great handlers and it provides all the things that a dog needs, shelter, food, water, all of that great stuff and all the extras that they're getting with the training and, sleeping and having an inmate right there. But still I was like, I wonder how he'll do, because it's still a brand new environment, but it seems like he went in balls to the wall. So good on Chico.
God, Danny sent that video of
her
and the other dogs, and Chico is just like whipping around, and I'm like, he knocks over the girl, and I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, thank God you're going to prison.
I saw the video and I was like, Chico, where'd you go, buddy? I mean, it was sweet.
Yeah, he's excited.
He's going crazy. That's the one thing.
I would rather see a dog though, like super excited, pumped, ready to go. Obviously, we can see that he's going to benefit from this program. And
exactly.
Program.
Right.
But
it's
like
a wild puppy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know what, though? It's going to be really fun to go back and look at that video and then see videos of
Yeah.
Chico knowing all of these different behavior cues. So I'm excited to see some updates.
So Chico's probably like a chocolate, like a lab mix. That's what he looked like to me. You know,
He actually just looked like a chocolate lab. I don't know if when I saw him, I was like, "Oh, you look like a pure."
And no
chocolate
offense
lab.
to the lab people that are listening, but he acts like a typical chocolate lab. I am.
Yeah, they're the crazy ones. Yes. The chocolates are crazy.
Yeah, they are. And that comes from like my ex used to hunt with labs and he bred Labradors, and all the lab people told me the chocolate ones are wild. So
that's what I've always heard too.
Yeah. So no offense though. So the next dog we had was.
I mean, I have bloodhounds, so I'm not judging.
No, you don't get to even make a comment on that.
No comment.
Then we have Teeter was the other chocolate lab looking pupster.
Yes.
And Teeter came from us out here in Assumption Parish.
Wait, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. Are Teeter and Colby named after the Yellowstone couple?
Yes.
She named them. What did you think?
I love it. Well, I just named our new dog Dutton today. So.
Oh, there you go.
I had that on my list of names. Ooh, I'm so mad at you.
And I already used Rip and Beth.
Yes.
Actually, Teeter and Colby actually came in together. They were owners surrendered together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, they came in together at the jail, and animal control put them together in the same kennel. And so, of course, we split them up, but we continued to walk them together. And then them being puppies, I just immediately pulled them and put them over with our play groups at Beagletown, and they were right at home.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that. And then Elf. What was Elf's story again? I completely forgot.
So Elf, actually, the way I got Elf is his mother was running in traffic, chasing cars on Highway 1, right in front of the sanctuary. And multiple of our employees almost ran her over. So I got like 20 calls at once to go rescue her. She was limping, but she was chasing the cars and like biting at the bumpers. She's like a border collie mix. So we get her, take her to the vet. Yeah. And then animal control finds out, tracks down the owner, and he says, he says she doesn't want her, obviously she doesn't, but she also has this puppy. Can you take it too? And so basically the owner surrendered her and the puppy, and Elf is the product of that.
Wow. What happened to Elf's mom?
Elf's mom is living with Angela. We had to remove her 2 outer toes because they were completely broken. But she is just fine and still tries to trace the cars through the yard. So she's fine.
Well, maybe Elf's mama will be joining Elf in prison soon.
Hopefully. I mean, she's got to go through heartworm treatment and stuff, but that's the end goal, hopefully.
Now, Danny, the handlers that you're working with, are they all from the former prison dog program that they had there before the pandemic?
Some of them are. I believe some of them are newer. Some of them don't really have any handling experience yet. We have five, including our alternate, that are newer, but they're picking it up.
Wow.
And the 4 from the previous program they're strong trainers. They are really good at what they do.
Oh, good. God, I love to hear that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so currently we have an almost approved application for Teeter, right, Danny?
Lizzie.
And Lizzie already interviewed them, right?
Yeah, Lizzie. Can you hear
Lizzie,
her?
you're muted. No, she's muted.
Sorry.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, Teeter has an approved application with somebody who works at the prison. So I let Danny know that it was approved, and so Danny's going to go ahead and set up a meet and greet and just see how everything goes.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I spoke with Danny today, actually, because I was able to talk to one of the other applicants who wants to adopt Precious Chico. And so Danny is also Danny is going to also set up a meet and greet. Oh, something's happening. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Something looked weird on my end. So Danny's going to also set up a meet and greet with the applicant that's interested in Chico, and we'll see how that goes.
Wow. So is the applicant for Chico also a prison employee?
Yeah, so all the applications that we got for the dogs in this, one second, sweetheart. All the applications that we got for the dogs in this prison program are all employees of the prison. So we actually got an application for Elf. I'm just waiting for him to call me back so we can talk and hopefully get that one approved as well.
I'm just going to make it official.
This is the book Dakota's reading right now. It's a doggy language book.
Oh,
This
perfect.
is what she's reading.
Good taste. I will say any prison employees get an employee discount.
Half price.
Half price. We're going to give you half price.
Yes.
We're selling them
And
like
it's
cakes.
And an expedited process too.
Yes,
We're
yes.
definitely-
You get
Yeah.
expedited process. You get 50% off the adoption fee.
It was cute too, because when we went there and actually talked, like that first time when it was Lizzie, Danny, and I, there was so many people at the prison that were telling us about the dogs they adopted from the previous program. So I had a feeling that when we sent dogs, we would get some apps from some guards or administration.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow. Well,
Peter's meet and greet is set up already. I set it up not for this coming Tuesday, but the following. And the guy, he works in their pod, and their you can tell he watches her, and he just has so much love in his eyes when he's watching her walk around like this.
wow. Well, you know, funny. Teeter's very popular because the mother of Teeter's handler has emailed me and asked for a picture of Teeter. She wants a picture of Teeter just to have because her son is Teeter's handler.
Teeter's a good girl. She really is a good dog.
Yeah, so that's great. So then, depending on who goes first, as far as getting a home, or if all three of them go, Danny and I talked, I think, yesterday, and I think TJ, who is currently in West Virginia right now, TJ is going to be going into the program next. TJ was a former Assumption Parish dog.
His
owner died of cancer, right?
So his owner, I got a call about a man. He had two dogs, and I didn't know anything. They just were in the house. They needed help getting the dogs out, and it ended up being really sad. Actually, the owner was an older man. He had TJ and a smaller dog, and he ended up passing away in the home with the dog. So they had to take him out first for me to go in and get the dogs. It was really heartbreaking. And that's all he had. He didn't have a wife, or he was not close with his family. His dogs were all he had. So, I mean, TJ, that's all he knew from a puppy.
TJ had a hard time in the beginning.
Yeah.
He had
hard. He still, I mean, even up until before we sent him to West Virginia, TJ had a lot of anxiety. He had a lot of time adjusting. You know, even if dogs are here for years, they still don't adjust to crate or kennel life. It's just not something some dogs can conform to and get used to. And TJ was definitely one of those.
So, Lizzie, the next dog that's going into the program is TJ. He is a Sharpador. He's like a Shar-Pei Labrador mix who came from Assumption Parish. He has, as Danny knows, because Danny's had him at her house, he has separation anxiety. So I don't know if it would be possible once he gets to the prison, if maybe we can get you out there to work with his handlers and start the process of teaching these guys about the separation anxiety program, you know, and working with them.
Yeah.
There right now.
I would love to do that. It's been. Am I unmuted? Am I muted?
No, you're okay.
Oh, you can hear me. Yeah, I would love to do that, and I'm learning so much about separation anxiety, and even as like somebody who's been around dogs, and you know, we've all had conversations about separation anxiety and it's the worst. It's just the worst. It's the worst. And it's just mind blowing how much information out there is so incorrect about separation anxiety. Like just not right. And it's been, I'm only in week 2 of my course, but you know, I'm sure by the time TJ gets there, I'll be far enough in, and then I'll be completely done. I believe at the end of March. So I'll be able to really help with that sort of thing 100%.
Well, maybe what we can do is, because TJ is going to be the next one to go, and then of course, selfishly, I want to send Boone, you know, the blue ticket at my house. Okay. Now, he has what I consider minor separation anxiety. It's not even that bad. It's just because he was so neglected when I got him, he was literally on the brink of death minutes away from dying, actually. So now he's just like, yay, there's someone who loves me and takes care of me. So his thing is, when you leave the room, he just cries. He doesn't try to break out. He just cries. Being that he's a hound, it is loud. You know, but
he doesn't cry, he howls.
It's a hound. He bays. Yeah, but you come back in the room and he's fine. You sit with him, he's fine. So it's not that bad, but there is some there. So maybe what we'll do is when he goes, and so TJ and Boone are both there, and then if you want to go and work with Danny, you know, spend the day there, whatever, and work with these handlers with these 2 dogs, that might be kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, I would love to. Anywhere I can be helpful, I'm super down. I was talking to Danny on the phone today and was telling her that I definitely want to get back there at some point, and would be really, really excited to do that.
And then Danny, she just reminded me, so they have Nicole Wilde's book, because I sent books up that Nicole wrote, my friend Nicole, and I didn't realize that one of the books I ordered was her separation anxiety book, Don't Leave Me.
Don't Leave Me.
So that's cool that they have those. So the dogs that are at the West Virginia property, and this was Danny's suggestion, and I'm so happy. Some of the dogs I sent to West Virginia to the kennel were dogs that came from us out here in Assumption Parish that were very friendly, just not the best with other dogs. Okay, not dog aggressive, just like get away from me, you know, get away from me.
Yeah.
And I was going to just attempt to adopt them out from the West Virginia location, and then also add prison dog candidates there to use for like a landing spot. Danny has said that the way the program at the prison is set up, she can totally take some of those dogs that me and Mariah sent up there into the program, because it is such a controlled environment that no dogs are going to be thrown together and wrestling out in the yard. Everything's very, very, structured. So that makes me happy, because dogs like Ramsey's, that have been with us for years, and he's so freaking cute. But
it opens the door up for more candidates.
Yeah,
it really does. And we did talk about that when we made the visit to the prison. We did talk about the great thing about this prison and the handlers and the people who are helping with this program and overseeing it. We were talking to them about this a lot, just that, the dogs don't have to all play in a group together or interact or get in each other's spaces. And we were excited to learn that, because we're like, wow, this is going to open this up for so many dogs who they can, they're not reactive, but maybe they're also at an age where they've reached social maturity and they're just really not into playing with dogs anymore. It happens. So there's no age limit either with this prison program. So it's just it's giving so many dogs opportunities that maybe they wouldn't have had before or with other programs.
I'm even having
all the other prison programs.
That's some of the staff are requesting seniors that are interested in possibly adopting. They're actually
But see,
specifically
the other prison programs we've worked with, it was literally like a dog park situation. Meaning, when they let the dogs out to run, they just turned them all loose in a big yard and they just ran together. And I mean, I get it. But for someone who's been around pit bulls her whole life, I was like, having heart attacks, And so that's why when Danny said, we can start pulling from the West Virginia kennel with these dogs, and they would work into that program. Plus, Danny knows the dogs at the West Virginia location really well. So she'll know, okay, this dog would be good for this handler.
Yep.
So that's going to be the new system, is that Danny's going to, with the exception of Boone, because again, I'm being selfish. I want him out of my house. The dogs will get pulled. Yeah, the dogs will get pulled from the West Virginia kennel, and then we will replace them with dogs from Louisiana. And that'll give time for Danny to know the dogs before she takes them to the prison. I think it's a great system.
Absolutely. I think it's a great idea that she has an opportunity to get to know the dogs, and she's going to go into it probably with an idea of who she's going to match up with who, because now she's getting to see their handler skills and all of that.
So that being said, Boone is going in for neutering this week. And then I would
Tomorrow.
go tomorrow. And I heard there's an empty kennel at West Virginia. So he was coming up there very
Bye,
soon.
Boone.
Bye, Boone.
Bye. Sorry, Danny.
Yay!
He's super dog friendly though, like super dog friendly.
Is he?
He's just a little baby. Super dog friendly. Oh my god! I'll send you a video. I took videos of him today playing with Augie. Yeah, he's like crazy dog friendly.
He's cute.
He is cute. He's tiny. It'll be great for him. Plus, you said you have a handler that's all into the hounds.
The older gentleman, yeah.
Yes, Ralph
So-
really
Oh
wants,
yeah.
yeah, he really wants a hound. Like his
Ralph
heart
is gonna get the real
So
deal.
cute. He's gonna be like, no more hounds.
Ralph's gonna get the real. Boone is a hardcore hound.
He's
Yeah.
like, I changed
So,
my mind.
I
Well,
know,
maybe
maybe
after Boone,
send him an easy hound
give him-
first.
Well, no, maybe we let him take Boone, and then we'll be like, look, work with Boone, and then we'll give you somebody a little bit easier, like maybe
Yeah.
Drawl or something.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, we have some other ones that would be like. I would love to send Chucky there. So we'll keep recycling
Chucky.
the hounds to Ralph. Ralph's just going to keep getting hounds after this. So
That'll
Yes,
work.
be careful what you wish for. Yeah.
hounds only for Ralph.
Yes. Okay. Well, then that's pretty much sums it up. I am to remind anybody watching this podcast that if they are interested in adopting one of the dogs in our Prison Dogs program, you can just go to our website and fill out the online application. And of course, if you are an employee from the prison, you can email directly to me at underdogsprisonprograms@gmail.com. So that is for prison employees only. Everybody else can just go to the website and fill out an application. And you know what? I was actually getting ready to like post the pictures of these dogs, but they're like they all have applications already pretty much. So I'm just gonna
I know.
hold
I was gonna say, y'all better hurry up if you
Yes.
guys want to adopt a dog from this program. Hurry, because
Yeah.
I feel like they're just gonna keep.
I think
Going
these
like
ones are already at homes pretty much.
Yeah.
Right, Danny?
Yeah.
Colby still needs an application, and Colby is getting thousands of dollars worth of training. Like these guys are doing like what people pay for board and train programs. It's thousands and
Right.
thousands, and they're getting 24/7 training from experienced trainers. So
Wow.
Colby still needs an application. Super
Okay.
cute dog,
Okay.
super sweet,
I'll
chill.
post Kobe there.
Yeah, he's really
I'm
easygoing.
gonna make a note right now. I'm gonna add it to my list of post-it notes all over my desk. Colby. So we're gonna post Colby. And see, I'm making a post-it right here. Colby's
Put
got his
that
own
on top
post-it.
of my DNA kits.
And the DNA kits are right there. Yes, we're gonna DNA Ramses and Zippy.
Woo, woo.
So, yeah. So, okay. Well, that concludes our very first episode of Cell Dogs. And gosh, I can't wait. I mean, I just love hearing like the progress and stuff. So we'll see what kind of cool things Danny's got going for next week.